Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Council members in Grovetown are raising questions about funding for a recent rodeo. We're going to break down some allegations against the mayor and hear what he has to say.
But first out, new resources to help curb crime in Richmond County. We sit down with the sheriff's office about the steps they're taking to make our streets safer.
It comes after 2 shootings in less than 12 hours. The latest just this morning around 9:30 on Datanack Street, a few blocks from Lenny High School. So far, we do know one man was shot in that. We're still working to learn how he's doing right now.
Deputies also investigating a shooting last night at the Dogwood Terrace Apartments on Old Savannah Road, just about 5 minutes away from the shooting this morning. We're told a man was shot in the arm there and is expected to be okay.
Now the sheriff's office is putting some new patrols in place to try to get ahead of all this crime. News 12's Will Rio live in our newsroom for us with the details.
Yeah, as we know, patrols have been increased in certain areas of the city to help cut down on that violent crime. As of this week, the sheriff's office says they're implementing a new technology to help identify and stop that violent crime from happening in Richmond County. Starting this week, the Richmond County Sheriff's Office is working to put a stop to violent crimes.
Everything we do, kind of the bad guys react to it, and then we have to try something new.
That something different is called a flock camera,
which are analytical cameras that give us capabilities that are great.
25 of them are set to go up in various places around the county and can help alert deputies to potential crimes.
We can actually, like with gang members, for example, if we have like their tags on their cars and their ID data, we can put pictures. There's all kinds of different things that we can do.
Every week, the sheriff's office holds hotspot mapping meetings where they look at past crimes and stats to determine where to focus resources. That's how they know where these cameras need to be placed.
Aimlessly having the deputies ride around is not going to help you. What we found is when we target, because what we do know from the data is we're more likely to be able to prevent crime if we're in the hotspots areas when and where the crimes occur.
The agency says they're down 100 deputies right now. This is the best strategy to focus resources and prevent violent crimes from happening.
That's the way that we need to try to get the biggest buck for the citizens.
The sheriff's office says deputies will go into these hotspots, but for it to be effective, they have to be in there for around 9 to 11 minutes. They can't just roll through. Chief Deputy Clayton says they're going to continue doing these road patrols moving forward.
And Will, just to make it clear, did you say those cameras are going out this week?
Correct. That's what they did say. Chief Deputy Clayton did say this week is when they're expecting those flock cameras to be implemented around the county.
All right. Thanks for that report live from our newsroom.
New in the last 2 hours, authorities in North Augusta released this photo of a car that's wanted in a road rage incident. This happened a little more than a week ago, right at the intersection of East Martintown and Atomic Roads. And that's where a man says another guy fired a shot into his car, injuring his ear. Officers say this is a look at that suspect's car now. We're seeing this a 2006 to 2009 Ford Focus. If you've seen it or if you have any information, call North Augusta Public Safety at 803-441-4217.
There is much more news ahead, but right now I'll look outside. This is Riverwatch.
That's coming up in just about 10 minutes.
Anthony, thanks a lot. We're following up with city officials in Grovetown about money spent on last month's rodeo at Liberty Park.
2 councilwomen are coming forward with some allegations against Mayor Gary Jones. Our Claire Allen breaks down the back and forth.
Some concerns in Grovetown are swirling over taxpayer money used to host a rodeo back in April. Councilwomen Sharetta Smith and Deborah Fisher claim Mayor Gary Jones, quote, used city funds that were not budgeted, appropriated, or voted on by city council for the rodeo event. We requested how much the city spent on the American Hero Pro Rodeo. The city rec department shows receipts totaling $31,153. The councilwomen also claim Mayor Jones held special meetings regarding the rodeo, excluding other members, including Smith and Fisher. When we checked with the mayor, he says it's not procedure to have every council member present for a meeting about an event. According to Grovetown's policy, the city administrator has the power to approve city contracts under $50,000 without the vote of council members. The councilwomen also alleged money from the city's water and sewer funds were used to pay for portions of the rodeo. The city administrator said that is not true. According to the city meeting minutes, they talked about the rodeo in February and March, but never voted on it. Mayor Jones says all accusations against him are false and will address them at the meeting tonight. In Grovetown, Claire Allen, on your side.
Our team will be sitting in on that city council meeting tonight in Grovetown. We'll have the latest for you tonight on News 12 at 11.
For months, we've seen stores struggle to stock enough baby formula. Now CVS, Walgreens, Target, and some other retailers are limiting how much you can buy at a time. Manufacturers say they're making as much as they can, but it's still not enough for all the families who need it. If you're in need right now, a solution could be in the palm of your hand. Our Sloan O'Cone has the details.
Empty shelves, recalls, completely out of stock, unable to order online. All are a part of the tireless surge parents across the river region are facing to get their babies fed.
Parents are panicked, and they have every reason to be panicked because it's scary when you can't find food for your child. What I'm seeing on our end are empty shelves, and also in the hospital, we're also having issues ordering formulas.
According to Data Assembly, the baby formula out of stock rate for April of this year is 31%, which is up from 23% in January.
We're all kind of working together to try to come up with contingency plans, but I think they are prioritizing the retail side so that parents can get the formula that they need when they need it.
But what if the answer to your prayers is right at your fingertips? Yep, Facebook. It's not a long-term solution, but community members are making groups like Food Angels of the CSRA, Formula for Free, and a few friendly mamas are coming to social media to help you get your baby's food. Together, they post formula that's needed, found, and then exchanged to make sure our babies are fed and parents can rest a little easier. And it's exactly what the doctor ordered.
I would encourage parents to talk to their friends, talk to their family, say, hey, when you go grocery shopping, can you please look out for this formula? If you see a can, please grab it for me.
Sloan O'Cone, on your side.
A pretty serious shortage. Talk about something that's a necessity. And we're going to have links to those Facebook groups we mentioned attached to this story online. And if you're on the hunt for formula, Dr. McNear recommends trying small shops first. We do want to remind you, she says, do not try to make homemade products.
Well, you're heading out the door this evening. Our temperatures are going to be falling out of the 70s, eventually into the 60s, 50s, and maybe even some 40s by tomorrow morning. The full forecast coming up just after the break. Time portions of next week, Monday, 92 degrees there, and some of the long-term models do hint at some mid to upper 90s, so we're going to be paying close attention on that, guys.
Familiar song there. It is that time of year. College graduations kicking off all across the river region. We've seen celebrations for USC Aiken, Aiken Tech, and we were there for Payne College's 140th commencement ceremony just yesterday. More graduations are in the lineup for this week, including students at Augusta University. They're coming up next. Craig Allison spoke with seniors getting ready to make that next move, and he's now live from the Bell Auditorium where those commencement ceremonies will be happening on Thursday. But Craig, the bottom line is it sounds like the job market is looking pretty good for local graduates.
That's right, Richard. The post-pandemic job surge is ripe and full of it. Puts the job seeker at the advantage. Now, the Georgia Department of Labor emphasizes that it's a great time to get your degree and to get into the workforce. Augusta University is set to have their graduations at the end of this week, and the feeling around campus is full of nerves.
I'm definitely super nervous. I've been a student my entire life, so it's going to be a big culture shock, but I'm super excited.
It's very anxious. People call it the real world, you got to be a big adult now, and so it's very anxious to know that I have to go on and make something of myself.
But for Georgians, there's nothing but opportunity knocking at the door.
I don't think we've ever seen a job market like this.
The Georgia Labor Commissioner, Mark Butler, says the disadvantage lies with the employers, who currently have more jobs than workers available.
Out there, if you just take a look in the Augusta area, right now there's over 8,000 job listings. Now that doesn't mean just 8,000 jobs, because a lot of those listings are for multiple people, not just hiring one. So you could easily have twice that number of jobs available.
Georgia is estimated to have around 200,000 employers with the possibility of 300,000 jobs. Wages could be higher as well, but inflation is up too.
Find what you love to do and go for it.
Now, those job listings are at employgeorgia.com, but for now, congratulations, seniors.
Yeah, Craig, thanks for, a lot for that. And yeah, good luck on the job hunt for all of our grads. Taking a look at the schedule for other schools, Augusta Tech commencement coming up Saturday at the James Brown Arena. USC just held their celebrations in Columbia over the weekend. Georgia Southern ceremonies happening right now in Statesboro through Friday. Clemson with graduations Thursday and again on Friday. UGA ceremony set for Friday night.
And speaking of the Dogs, local golf pro and UGA alum Kevin Kisner getting recognized by Augusta University. The school just honored him and his wife Brittany with the annual AU President's Award for their support of the Children's Hospital of Georgia. The couple has pledged $5.3 million to the hospital to establish a pediatric behavioral health and wellness center right here at Chog. So important work, golf giving back, and this couple is always giving back to this community.
That will touch a lot of lives.
Yeah. To sports now, the Braves are starting to put the wins together. Hear how the defending champs are feeling after the break.
The live by camera.
We have some breaking news on a national story just into our newsroom. The manhunt for that Alabama inmate and corrections officer has come to an end.
An Alabama sheriff just made the announcement in a live press conference. He says the pair, Casey White and Vicky White, not related, surrendered in Indiana.
Investigators say both are currently in a hospital. We're told she shot herself as deputies closed in. She is still alive, but Indiana authorities say she's in, quote, pretty serious shape.
All of this developing live, and it started with a police chase. A police officer recognized their car. There was a crash, and then, as we mentioned, she shot herself, both of them in the hospital this afternoon. But we'll update you as we continue to learn more details.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
It's been a slow start to the season for the defending champs. Atlanta lost 13 of their first 24 games, many of which were against bad teams. But in their last two series against the division-leading Mets and division-leading Brewers, they're finding more of a groove. Kyle Wright and Max Fried have both been solid starters for Atlanta this year. Wright's been the leader of this pitching staff with a 3-1 record, sub-2 ERA. The bats have been cold at times this year, but they came alive yesterday, hanging 9 runs on the Brew Crew. Brian Snitker says this last week has been a step in the right direction.
I think it shows what we're capable of and the team that we are. We're still trying to get our foothold, to maybe, you love to get everything going and get on a run, but I think, with this, like I say, the split New York and winning a series off a first-place team is big for us.
The Braves have an important stretch coming up, some big series, and then 10 straight divisional games. Atlanta's 14-16 on the year. That's the same mark they were at through 30 games last season. We know how that one turned out. The NCAA Women's Golf Tournament underway today. AU playing in the Franklin Regional. The Jags currently tied for 10th after round 1, but they are right in the mix, not too far off. Plenty of golf left as they've got 2 rounds to go. Finally this evening, Corey Connors must just hate his putter. Feels like every week this guy's chipping in from